Welcome to the channel, guys. And today we've got Grant.
Hello.
So, we've just been having a little bit of an interesting chat, and I won't lie, Grant, I'm a little bit worried.
There is some cause, I think, to be worried. Maybe not a huge amount, but things are changing direction, I think would be how I would describe it.
With GW, yeah.
Yes.
And so by now, nearly everybody will have seen the whole change to GW's IP. Obviously, the Warhammer Plus coming, I don't even know when it's coming. I really didn't even pay attention when they revealed it on the screen.
October, I want to say. September, October time, maybe?
All of these amazing animators that you've seen all over YouTube, the main one that people will know is Astartes. There's a couple of others, Absolutely Nothing, and a few others. Mark says 25th of August.
Okay.
Much earlier than what we thought then.
Yeah.
And they've approached a few people. I've seen online, I can't remember the guy's name, but he did an orc animation and it was like in a buggy, like jumping over sand dunes and stuff like that. And he basically did a 3-minute video to go, I won't be making any more content. I've demonetized my YouTube and I've closed my Patreon because GW reached out to him and offered him the opportunity to work with them as part of the animation team. And he declined because he is a full-time student who just happens to do that as a hobby in his spare time. And he didn't have the time or the commitment to be able to put that much time into animating for GW full-time. So because he said no, they basically shut him down.
Yeah.
And there was also another animator that's similar, and the same things happened to them as well. Now, Games Workshop have updated their IP guidelines on their website to say that you cannot create animation. Not monetize it, you cannot create it.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether this is me, but this whole thing reminds me of that scene in Avengers where Nick Fury points at Loki and goes, "Ant, big button, boot."
Yeah.
And that seems to be what GW are doing at the minute.
I think it's obviously all because of Warhammer Plus.
Yeah.
And they want that to be where you go to see animated content, and they want to be able to control the animated content they have. The reason, the problem with third-party stuff is they have no control over it. And it can go in directions that they don't like. So I can fully see why they're kind of getting involved in it this way. Because they have to protect their IP. Because if they don't, someone else will be making full-fledged Space Marines within a week.
I get that.
But it's obviously sucks as well. It's really hard to get a middle ground in any of these situations. Like, look at fan-made video games. They all inevitably get pulled down because of this reason.
It does tend to be the bigger companies. Like, I know there was and because I follow speedrunning and stuff a lot anyway, I know bits and pieces. Nintendo does not pull down Super Mario World ROM hacks. The amount of Super Mario World ROM hacks is unbelievable that is out there. However, somebody broke open Ocarina of Time, and there was a whole extra expansion actually coded to the cartridge, and they broke it open basically and finished what was there.
Right. Yeah.
And Nintendo went for them by the throat.
Yeah.
Also, I don't remember the girl's name, but there was a girl selling merchandise who's quite a big Twitch streamer. She's obviously got an OnlyFans account, and I think I think it was Poké Princess.
I don't know any Twitch streamers. I'm too old for
Right.
Twitch.
You're on it now.
Yeah, but I couldn't set this up. That's the difference.
So she used to sell merchandise with her Poké Princess logo on it, but because she was making money off her name, which involved Pokemon, basically, I don't know whether it was Nintendo or Game Freak, but they went for it, and she had to totally change her whole thing.
Yeah,
and it's like GW would do it. They're becoming Disney.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with this is it's really hard to say, well, GW should let everyone do what they want. Because they can't do that either. But I get it's frustrating for everyone involved that are making these things. And, I mean, the thing is, what about, like, commission artwork and that? Like, how is that going to play out if they're going after animations, they're going after everything else? Like, if you commission, like, well, my Twitter picture just now is me as a Bone Splitter from when I played Bone Splitters. So technically, the guy that I paid for that, are they going to start going after people like him as well?
Well, technically, they can, based on what their IP says. Now, I just want to give a shout out to Mikey from Hellstorm Wargaming. I was watching him talk about this last night, and him and Jay had a lot of interesting points about this, actually. It's incredibly frustrating because I watched a YouTube video today. Some people may remember. He's one of like kind of the OG YouTubers, Wargamer Fritz, or Fritz 40k as he was known. Was that a cat or a model that was jumping?
It was my paintbrush flew out my hand.
So Fritz,
it did hit the cat.
So Fritz 40k as he was originally known, right? And he's reasonably controversial about things. He's not frightened to speak his mind, right? And quite a while ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe now, his YouTube account just got closed down. Couldn't speak to YouTube, nothing. Similar to what happened to Astartes. But Nick Beer from Idic Beer 40k basically campaigned to try and get him his channel back. And unfortunately had to restart it. Now, he basically said, and I kind of agree with this, right, that if your kid draws you a Space Marine, right, or in your case, Grant, somebody draws you as a Bone Splitter, technically, that is breaking their IP.
Yeah.
That is breaking their IP.
It is, but there is also now, I don't understand any of this, but there is like fair use rules and laws and stuff like that, so I don't know how that plays into it. I know that's, for example, how parodies and stuff like that are protected because it comes under fair use. Because you're taking something, again, we'll go back to the commission artwork idea, you're taking GW's established character design and changing it, does that come under fair use or not?
Yeah, but the thing with that is you or the artist is financially gaining from that. That's the problem, right? And I get that bit. But to then suddenly say you cannot create any animations at all, just outright no. That's like
and it's 100% because of Warhammer Plus. Because let's be honest, it doesn't look that enticing right now.
No.
I'm not excited by it. I don't see how this is going to be worth a $5 a month or whatever it is. Because there's not going to be enough content there to last a month.
So
unless everything from Warhammer Twitch becomes Warhammer Plus.
And Bryn's raised the next point, which I'll get to eventually, but protecting IP I agree with, but surely fan-made content has to be allowed or they wouldn't send stuff out early to the likes of you, Harry. Me and Grant discussed this, and this is why, I won't lie, right, I'm kind of a little bit worried that battle reports are going to be illegal. Because on Warhammer Plus, they said that they'll be doing battle reports.
Yeah.
Technically, I am very minimally, but financially gaining from GW's IP by filming battle reports, reviews, and all of the likes. Right?
Yep.
How is that any different to some fan-made animation? This is
my counterpoint to that, as I said before, is that what you are doing by, especially when it comes to pre-release stuff, but anything in general, you are advertising GW's product. Somebody goes on your channel, watches the battle report, sees, oh, that's a cool dreadnought, I want to go and buy that. They go to the GW website, they buy it, right? That's how it works for them. It's why we saw with Dominion especially, it went to a lot of painters more than anybody else. So Twitter was full of these painted models from the Dominion box set. Now, that's obviously kind of what they're aiming at. And that's why I think battle reports will be fine, because it's showing the models that they sell. Animations don't do that.
No, but if you see this massive beefcake orc war boss coming towards you in mega armor with an huge chopper, right? And he's proper raw, he's got blood hanging off him, he's dribbling in guts, he's, do you know what I mean? And all the rust and the clanking, and there's a little grot on top. Imagine, right, Rocket and Groot, when Rocket is stood on Groot's shoulder firing his machine gun, and you've got a Gretchen on top of an orc war boss. How cool is that?
But the problem there is, unless they sell that model, GW don't want it to be shown.
Which they do, or will
They
be.
do. Yes. So that's why they'll do animations for that. But if you were to do an animation of something cool like that, but not that.
But if you do an animation of that, and it looks fucking awesome, right? How many people's going to go and buy that model?
Yes. But I think that one of the big reasons they're doing this, and it's not just for that, it's because they can control the narrative of what happens in their animations, which they can't control on fan-made YouTube stuff. You can do anything you want. You can have like Sisters of Battle falling to Slaanesh, and that's a very rare thing. There's only two Sisters of Battle in the entire history of the Order that's ever fallen to Chaos. So you could go and do a whole Chaos Sisters animation series. Well, if that's not something that GW want to promote, they don't want that to be shown to get a big audience on YouTube. And as Warhammer Plus grows, there's going to be more interest in Warhammer animation.
So, I'm just going to catch up on chat here. So, AT, thank you for joining us. He says, they really think too much of themselves. Yes, it's legal for them to do so, but does it make it right? So many people have discovered or rediscovered Warhammer because of all these videos and fan arts. Yes.
Which is also true. Very true.
And I do feel, approach your starties and go, look, dude, your animations are awesome. You've got people hyped about Space Marines. Come and work for us. We'll help you. If he says, look, you know what? No, I don't want to. Then basically turn around, goes, there's the door, get out, give us everything you've got. You're never allowed to work again is basically what they've said.
Yeah.
Not to that extent, but they didn't They didn't do that with the starties. The starties joined up, I believe, but they did it to one of the other guys. The problem that you've then got, right, is that's his creation, right? They've technically, he's technically sold out. That's not the right term. That's basically what he's done, right? And GW have bought that from him, which means you don't know the terms of his contract or anything.
Nope.
He might only be employed with him for 12 months.
Yep.
Right? Once he's basically taught some GW lackeys the way that he does it in his style, what's to stop them from going, right, thank you very much, see you later, we'll handle this now?
Well, given how they can't get a simple app right, I think it's going to take a lot more than 12 months to teach anybody in GW how to animate.
The app's a whole other... I will not use that app. I hate it. They contacted me early before they released it and said, we've got a beta version, do you want in? I looked at it and just went, nope. Not interested.
I use it when I'm thinking up lists to check up, before I go for data sheets and stuff like that. Well, obviously, Azir is the big one I'm going to miss, because it's going to turn into the AOS version of the 40k app, and it's just not going to be as good.
Yeah. I'm going to have to catch up with chat now. So Mark says, I don't believe you get fair use on corporate-owned IP. You get fair use on their releases so you can react to their stuff, but you don't get fair usage to use the IP to make your own stuff. Bryn says, you may have to put up a disclaimer, play models, rules, and IP property of GW, blah, 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 blah. Possibly. Mark says, but equally, Harry, you could do an animation like that, and the grot could have its knob out instead of a gun, and then lose them
Yeah,
and
I mean,
miners and many. Yeah, Mikey
that's the
actually.
point I'm making. Yeah.
Mikey said the same thing yesterday. Mark, he said about a space marine and a horse.
Yeah.
Right. I get it. I get it. Bryn says basically they want to control plot. They want the animation's narrative, so it follows their narrative. Fine. Then work with the animator. Say, look, this is the direction we want to go in. Can you do this for us? If you don't want to, can you maybe do this instead?
Here's the thing, though. If you're just going to work with them, then there needs to be financial reimbursement for that, and then they basically need to be employed, really.
Right, one second. Michael Roscombe's just joined us. They're not banning people from doing battle reports. I'm worried that that's the route they'll go down when Warhammer Plus arrives.
Yeah.
What is the questionable model? Don't know what you mean, Black Velvet. But yeah. So that's obviously a big corporate decision from them to go, right, if you're not helping us, go away.
Yeah.
Get back under your rock. That's basically what they've said. Now, I only got into 40k when 7th edition started 7 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, there was no Warhammer community. Your community was your local store, and that was it.
Yes.
You played with the codex you had.
Mm-hmm.
If it was underpowered, tough shit.
Yep.
That's why people used to run flying circus hive tyrants. Like that was a thing for Tyranids because they had nothing else.
Look at fantasy. Your books would be 3 editions out of date.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I don't know where I was going with this now. You basically saw nothing of GW. You wanted to get information from them. You wanted to contact them. Nothing. You saw nothing. You spoke to nobody. Not a thing. However, at the end of 7th edition, probably about 9 months before 8th edition came out, they actually started posting on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do Twitter, so I assume Twitter as well. And they asked people for what questions they wanted. They asked for FAQs.
Mm-hmm.
And people emailed FAQs in, and I think they released like one every week at the time. This was like 2016, I think. And they released an FAQ for a codex each week. And you know what? It was so useful and so helpful.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I think that is about the time that Rob Symes was working for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Twitch popped up. And I remember me and Tom and me and Phil went down to Warhammer World. And I played 2 games on stream. I played one with Phil, I played one with Tom. And that was 7th edition. It was about 2 or 3 weeks before 8th edition came out.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, they'd probably been running like their Twitch stream maybe 6-9 months or so. And the interaction with the community at that point was really, really good. They answered questions for you. They did all sorts on Facebook. Do you know what I mean? There was accessibility was great. They were very transparent with 8th edition. They started doing small teaser animations and being upfront with people saying, look, this is coming out. Like, get hyped for this. And it was great because you had like the Return of Gilliman at the end of 7th edition and the Fall of Cadia books. And it was brilliant, right? Prior to that, you knew nothing. You found out what was on pre-order if you bought White Dwarf.
Mm.
And that was it.
Bryn was saying hello to me in the chat, apparently, but I can't see the chat. So
No, you can't. I'm going to catch back up before I continue my story, though. Mark says they can use this force, shut down any Warhammer-related channels they don't like the content or aim of, and any apps, etc. they don't want to keep around. Battlescribe whenever they feel like it, but I think are unlikely to just use it to shut everything. Michael says, I wish GW just made a good movie or a good series about Games Workshop. Everything is subpar and fan-made, which is good, but also why don't GW invest in their own community? Agreed. It would bring in so many more people. I don't think artists like being stifled. fan-made stuff is done to their own time and restraints, and having GW breathe down your neck can't be fun experience. That's why I can't remember the guy's name, Gloomspike, but that's what I mentioned earlier. So Guy had been approached, and because he was a full-time university student, he went, look, I can't meet your constraints. So they just went, fine, demonetize your YouTube, get rid of your Patreon, and then they doubled down on it again and just went, you're not allowed to make it anymore.
Yeah.
I see GW as a company and game dying under its own elitism, gatekeepers, and alienated future generations and community as a whole. That's something else that I'm going to move on to very soon. But as you kind of got halfway through 8th edition, I think they got way too carried away with interacting with the community. They looked at too many things too deeply, and in my opinion, I started to enjoy the game less because there was too many changes. I get the 6 monthly FAQ to balance things out. I get it, right?
That's amazing.
But change a few things, but then all of a sudden, adding the Space Marine Bolt of Discipline thing out of nowhere. And then they put it in the Codex, which was the second Codex of 8th edition, and then a few months later they had the 9th edition Codex. Whatever. But they started looking way, way too deeply into things. I get there was a lot of broken shit in 8th edition. The Tau Commander spam in early 8th edition was ridiculous, right? And I get a lot of the changes. You can see them now in 9th edition. 9th edition as a game is the best game of 40k that we've had. I don't like 9th edition missions. That's a whole other topic. But the core mechanics and how you play 9th edition is a good game. Codexes and changes and FAQs are way too complicated. Way too complicated now. The codexes alone grant are nigh on impossible to keep up with.
I think this edition, and probably the same with AOS 3 as well, I think it's a great argument for moving to the living rule set that everybody wants, but I just don't see GW ever doing that. They're never going to want to give up the money that printed codexes bring in.
So Michael says, I think GW moved to the stock market in 2015 is the greatest downfall of the community. It's all gone so corporate. I see this. I've only played since 2019, 2 years, and I'm already done with it. Kind of, again, where this kind of story is going, Michael. So, what they then cottoned on to with all of these FAQs is, well, let's just release another book and make a bit more money.
Yeah. So
all these Space Marine changes are really, really cool, right? Let's just release another codex because everyone's going to want it. And then, of course, they added the supplements to that as well, and a new model to go with them. Fine, okay.
And here's the thing: the idea of re-releasing stuff in print, I actually like, because not everyone knows where to get the FAQs. Again, it's where a living digital rule set would be good.
The issue with the FAQs is they change so much so quickly. For somebody who plays casually, I'm struggling with it, and I wouldn't say I do this full time. I do this 1/3 time because I put about maybe half the time I put into my full time job into this, and it's hard for me to keep up.
Yeah,
and it's a semi-professional thing for me. And I would like to think I've got a decent memory because I work in finance, so I'm decent with numbers, and I can't keep up with it. I can't keep up with this. And you get people who are playing casually at your club. Oh, do Chaos Space Marines get Hateful Assault again? Do they get Bolt of Discipline?
Have they got 2 wounds yet?
No, they don't have 2 wounds yet. I don't even know if they still have Bolt of Discipline, and I don't know if they have Hateful Assault. But I know they did at one point. I don't know whether or not they do now, but that's the thing, they keep adding so much and they're changing so much so quickly because they're following the competitive scene, and I get the competitive scene is where a lot of people want to be, but they are changing so much so quickly people can't keep up with it, and people... I'll hold my hands up. I am losing interest.
Mm-hmm.
I am. I don't think I would never give up, because I love the models, I love the universe and everything. But for me, it's starting to get more and more frustrating. And going back to what Michael said about going corporate, for those few years after, their community was very good. They interacted with the community, they were open, they showed previews, and now it's all about sell, 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 sell.
Yeah.
Now, is this because of COVID hitting last year? So many people moved back into the hobby last year because they were stuck in the house. A lot of people did. And GW's profit surged last year. They reported, I looked at the finances just before we came on stream. Their half year up to November 20, their turnover was 186 million. Their half year profit was something like 84 million profit.
Yeah, they're not short of money.
No, not at all. And it just feels like when they have a good stint money-wise, they're constantly thinking, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Rather than just letting the game settle a little bit, like what they did in 7th, right?
Especially because we haven't played.
Exactly.
Like,
most
that's
people,
a big thing.
Most people in the UK only started really playing 9th in probably maybe May, June.
Yeah.
If you didn't have I am so lucky that I had Lucy.
Yeah. You could play games.
We played each other for over a year.
And you pretty much lost them all, didn't you?
95% of them. 95% of them. But, like, it just feels, and I'm going to show you some examples. I've got some examples here, right? They just care about the money because they don't even care about the quality anymore, Grant.
No.
The misprints, spelling mistakes.
Their books have never.
No, but I mean, come on, send it out. Yeah. The people that do the reviews send a PDF copy to them. Go, can you have a look through this for us and see if there's anything wrong with it?
Yeah.
If they sent it to the people that play tested, it doesn't cost them a thing, and they are getting.
No, this is the big thing. Is there's always others, the play testers, but if they're not being listened to, which apparently a lot of the time they're not, then what can be done?
Because I know you know some AOS playtesters, and if that's...
No, I know of. I don't know.
All right, okay.
I know of.
Okay. So, just going to catch back up on chat again. Gloomspite says... Oh, wait there. Mark says, I'm not in that. He loved the printed codex, hit digital. I agree, Mark. To some extent.
I prefer a printed codex.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can see the benefits of having the rules component digitally online to be updated with the FAQ rules in them all the time.
But they don't update them.
No, they don't update the digital ones. You still use the PDF.
Kelly says the codexes, etc., are tied into Warhammer Plus and the apps. They want people tied into the subscription. Yes. Can't have it both ways. It even cried when they were doing no FAQs. Everyone cries when they do FAQs. Only way to stop it is to balance the game originally, which isn't even possible in chess. So never going to happen in 40k. I get it.
No, and I don't want a balanced game. I think this is a big misconception. I don't want the game to be balanced. A balanced game is boring. I don't want books to be shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
I know.
I want every book to be fun. I want every book to have cool stuff to do in it. I want stuff to make sense. I don't want a book that you open up and go, cool, I can't do anything with this. This is really boring.
So, Gloomspite Nob says, I came back to Warhammer after 25 years. Well, Games Workshop was pretty ruthless back then also. I vaguely played back in 2nd edition, like 25 years ago, so yeah. Jalen says, would they honestly not make more money if everything was on subscription? All quarter season rules also. I would pay, say, like a WoW sub just to have access to everything. Probably, yes. But the issue with that is, Jalen, they then change what is in the books and then don't update it.
Yeah, but I think that's into the idea that I'm having, that if they could just keep the subscription, keep it up. So I think the solution for me would be the codex still exists. You can still buy the physical codex. But these codes that we're getting in them should be a full digital version, not the app. The app isn't good.
No, I don't like the app.
What I loved, I guess, to kind of spin off a little bit, was the Apple enhanced books. So have you ever had them? I had a couple. The Apple enhanced codexes were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they could just do that, but not with Apple, so anyone could get it.
Yeah.
And you put your code in, you got the enhanced version of the book, and they updated that one. So you've still got your physical book, and if nothing changes, you can still use that. But you've got your enhanced version with all updated wordings.
Yep, totally agree. So a few more comments to catch up on. Michael says, to be honest, can you still play casually GW? I mean, don't most people check GW every day? Yes. I think at this time only the hardcore hobbyists are left, aged 30 to 50-year-olds, that GW knows they can milk. Probably. He never sees kids play anymore. I agree.
I'll just dispute that.
Okay.
I know the Aberdeen GW store has a huge amount of kids in on their kids' day on a Sunday. Pre-pandemic, they had like 70-odd kids in the store every week.
But Aberdeen's a massive store, though, isn't it?
It's not a big store. They do have an upstairs gaming area, and it's one of the most profitable outside of Warhammer World. So there is that.
There you go, then. That's why I meant the gaming area.
It's a lucky store. It's the case in point that there are kids getting into this game if they're supported, which is why GW should have better stores.
But they get into it because their fathers are into it.
Possibly, but not all. It's just, they walk past the store, they see it, it looks cool, they go in, they get a free model, all that.
You alright, Lou? Bryn says, looked at buying shares in GW Max 2 years back and was shocked they were £35. Now they're £155 per share when he checked last week.
I'm closing the door.
Yeah.
She told us off I'm too loud. Mark says...
not like years, like 3-4 years ago was a big regret of mine.
Yeah. So Mark says they have a Hasbro executive. Hasbro has zero care for customers, zero care for community, and their entirety for profit, and profits way higher than GW makes. The same happened to Wizards, and just getting worse since they were bought out by Hasbro. Yeah. Bahamut says, to be frank, when I was first looking about the hobby, the fact that you had to buy two $60 books was kind of a turn-off. I agree, and this is some of the examples I've got here. Mark says, if it is fun, it sadly means it will either not be played by tournament players, or tournament players will find something broken, and then those people will want to win every casual copy. Tournament armies either drop competitive entirely or have it split separate is the way to have it as good as possible. Yes. Jay says, joined the stream late but caught your stream title, so surely GW can't stop online battle reports after all the channels are not only promoting GW but also their products for their armies. That's something that we did cover, Jay, and it's something I'm a bit worried about, whether they are going to come after people like myself, because they are going to start doing battle reports on Warhammer Plus. AT says, I agree, rules and game mechanics change too quickly. It's hard to keep up with all the supplements and FAQs. By the time I had finished painting my Bone Reapers, their rules were changed. I don't think Bone Reapers really changed much other than their one FAQ, did it?
Petrifex got changed.
Yeah, because that it should never have been printed that way in the book.
No, but then look at the game now. 3-up save is normal now.
Yeah.
So, and they're actually better now because they ignore pointing around.
Yeah.
So Petrifex are pretty good now.
Michael says, maybe in the UK. Outside of the UK, the game is dying. All gaming areas closed down. It's too expensive. They walk past store, look cool, see prices, run away screaming. 30 to £40 is a video game. £50 is a video game.
Yeah, you're buying it new.
No effort, easy to play, updates are free. Yes. why they do not make stickers of new rules and updates so you can place them in the codex. It will cost like 3 cents. I totally lost respect to GW when they came out with the Space Wolf Codex with the wrong saga. Was absolutely atrocious.
That was shocking.
That was... Sean bought the limited edition one.
Yeah, it's even more limited now because it's wrong. No?
That was horrendous. Icewolf says, I have 2 3D printers and print everything myself now. Updates come far too thick for me. I haven't played my first game of 8th edition yet. After 30 years, first the kill of Warhammer Fantasy with AOS. Now it's only... AOS is a good game though, Icewolf, and I get a lot...
I'm not going to get into Warhammer Fantasy killed fantasy. That's how it went. The game wasn't selling. It was making them no money. They had to do something, and AOS is what they did. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. So, going back to the cost of getting into the hobby as, through GW. And this is another video that I wanted to do with Grant, talking about Marvel Crisis Protocol. Now,
which I've also been painting.
I just want to show you what you guys need if you want to get into painting AdMech. Now, if somebody in chat can go onto the GW website, if they're able to, and tally up some stuff for me as we go along, that would be really great, right? So first of all, what do you need? Well, to play the game, Grant, you need your core rulebook.
No, you need the oh no, you do now. Yeah, the rules aren't in chapter approved this time, are they? Are they? The core rules in chapter approved?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so you don't need the core rulebook then, unless you're playing narrative.
Okay. My apologies. You don't need the core rulebook.
Yeah, it's the same with AOS. You don't actually need the core rulebook anymore, you just need the GHB.
Aren't the generic relics and core battalions missing from it?
From the GHB?
Uh-huh.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I'll check in a second. So, you need this. You need this. £25. Okay? That's got your missions in, and it's got your core rules in it. That's it for match play, right? £25. What army did you play, Grant? I heard you play AdMech, yeah? Cool. 25 quid. There's 50 quid. Oh, what's that? You play AdMech. Oh, did you know that there's an expansion book out for it as well called Warzone Caradron, the Book of Rust? Yeah, if you play one of the Forge Worlds, then you need that book, Grant. There's 35 quid. Right? Oh, what's that? You've got lots of Vanguard and Rangers. Oh, okay. You need this book as well, and this is Warzone Caradron Act 2. This is also £35. Oh, there's £120 on books before you've even touched the model.
Yeah.
Right? How much is the patrol box? 80 quid?
85. I think 85 from GW. I think they're all the same.
85 quid, right? You get like a trooper HQ and a transport or something like that, right? How many Vanguards here? How much is a box of Vanguards now anyway? I'm gonna have a look.
I'm gonna assume 35.
That much?
Maybe 30.
Games Workshop. $27.50. Mark, thank you very much. 2 or 3 boxes of them. That's another 60, 90 quid. Oh, you need a couple of chickens. They're like 30 quid a piece. You need some oranges. They're like 40 quid a piece. And before you know it, Grant, you've spent like 400 or 500 quid and you've got 1,000 points.
Yeah,
half an army.
AdMech is a particularly expensive example of an army to collect.
Even Space Marines, though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, you're still looking.
I'm not going down that road, but I'm just saying that AdMech are definitely an extreme example, and it's stupid that they cost so much.
Now,
much like Imperial Guard, they're kind of unplayable at this point because you just need so much money.
Oh, don't even get me started on Guard. What they did with that Imperial Guard box set, is absolutely out of order.
Oh, it is completely.
They charge an extra 8 quid or something for the sprue?
You're now, as I was looking up, you're now cheaper to buy the old metal Steel Legion troops, which I love. than you are to buy the new plastic Cadian box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, we'll have Krieg soon anyway to get rid of the Cadians. But
I know. So that is how and that's before you've even bought brushes, before you've bought paint. And why on earth, right? Why on earth do people go and pay £15 for a tin of Chaos Black spray when you can walk into Halfords and get a tin of black primer for £6?
Because nobody knows that.
Well, it's better spray paint from GW. No, it's not. It's really not.
It depends where you get. Like, if you're in the store, you're also just going to buy it there. And unless you go on YouTube and start learning about alternatives, you don't know there's alternatives out there.
Yeah.
Plus, it can depend on what alternatives you try. I mean, if you try, like, Army Painter paint. I like Army Painter paint.
I've never had a problem with that.
There is a specific technique to using Army Painter paint.
See, all of them Blood Angels, I would say 80% of it is Red Dragon by Army Painter.
Yeah, and if you use Army Painter right, it's fine. If you use it wrong, you'll ruin models.
Then learn how to spray.
Yeah, you'll learn how to spray very quickly. But that can put people off, and it's got to buy GW paint. Because you don't ruin as much with GW. It's very hard to... You've really got to overspray with GW, I find.
Maybe. But, like, even then, you're looking at, like, £1,000 and you haven't even got, like, a full army, really. Again, I need to catch up with chat because there's a lot of people chatting tonight. I think printers are the future of the hobby. Most hobby clubs will invest in a club printer and play with old or fan-made codexes. This is the future in 5 to 10 years. There's a lot of games coming out like that. I think Kings of War started similar to that, I think. Buying all these books means I can't buy plastics. Yep. And the extra books are DLC that have 4 or 6 pages. Yes, especially because there's only 4 or 5 pages in each of them books for your AdMech. The best you can do is the Recruit 9th edition box is $50. A sleek tablet costs less than 1 codex. Yep. Onager 10 Skatari Priest and 3 Breaches is 85 Combat Patrol. Yeah. Jonah Dyer says he spent £600 on 1,750 points of AdMech. Is that with or without books? Is that with or without paint? Icewolf says to remodel and change the stand of a 3D model costs like 4 hours, but still they bring out 20 lieutenants at $22.50 a piece. Yeah, we pay £22.50 a piece, so that's like what, €30? Michael says, my hope is the Imperial Guard Combat Patrol is going to be a reprieve at the cost of buying into Astra Militarum. Hope it's priced at 85. Probably. That's the way they seem to be going. But like, the getting started sets were brilliant value for £50, right? You got a little bit of discount.
Then they went up to 60.
Some went to 60, some went to 55.
Yeah.
But now in 40k you don't have getting started boxes. You've got Combat Patrol boxes, which are £85. Again, squeezy.
The one good thing I will say about Combat Patrols, it's a Combat Patrol. A lot of getting started boxes weren't really playable armies. Like, we'll look at the AOS one. So go to AOS, look at the Gloomspite Gits one. You get some Trogs, some Squigs, and a Loon Boss.
Can't play
like, yes, they're all in the Gloomspite book, but they don't work together at all.
Nope.
At least with the Combat Patrols, they're building it around, you can take that Combat Patrol Force Organization chart and this goes into it. I like that as a concept.
Yeah. No,
price is an issue, don't get me wrong. But that's just GW for us.
Yeah.
It's not a cheap hobby, never has been. Well, it was.
Someone says, GW spray undercoats are awful, not touched them in years. 3 words for you, Corax White Spray. Never touched it.
Oh, it's garbage.
Wilkinson's own white primer, £5.
The Grey Seer and Wraithbone contrast primers are great. I use them all.
That's an entirely different paint, though, because they are designed for contrasts to flow over the top of them. So I get that. Buying a cheap airbrush and some Vallejo primer colours is going to save you loads of money. I spray all my models basic prime colours and play with them, so as not to ruin the resale. I just buy cheap black primer. Jonah Dice says, with Codex, no paint. So he bought the Codex and 1750 points of AdMech and cost him 600 quid. Death Guard is the exception, 10 Poxwalkers, and you can't use the rules.
Yeah.
Because I think you need another infantry squad to be able to take them, I think. Because there's 20 Poxwalkers in there, but only one infantry squad, so you can't... Something like that.
You can make one squad of 20, though, could you not?
I can't remember exactly. Someone will probably find it. I love the cheap army men look. The cheap old green plastic. Yeah, fair enough. Getting started and combat patrols, including unique characters, can kiss my ass. Yeah, because Bryn bought like 3 getting started 1,000 Sunsets, and he ended up with... Because it was... Even getting the Araman, it was cheaper than buying the rest of the stuff, but why put Araman in?
So, again, I was going to play devil's advocate, but it's fun. It's to stop exactly what Bryn did. They're a getting started box, not that expand your army box.
Oh, there you go. There's 30 Poxwalkers in the box, but you can only have a maximum of 20, and you need a Bubonic Astartes core infantry unit for every Poxwalker unit, but you only get 5 Marines in the box. Yeah. So, having obviously gone through all of my frustrations with all of that, like, I'll hold my hands up, I really haven't bought much Warhammer recently, Grant. I bought Be'lakor, I bought Lord Croak and the Spite Revenant. And what came out before that? The Daughter's stuff was out. I think I bought Shadow and Pain.
Sure, I bought recently. So what has Grant bought recently? Kragnos.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. I will...
Gargant! Second Gargant.
Third Gargant?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Stopped at 2. To be a slow grow, that one. I'll work away at that army eventually.
Michael says, how do you guys like the new Orc Combat Patrol box? There's no evidence that is the box. I've got the Codex next door, actually, in the other room. There's no evidence that is actually the Combat Patrol box, because some of the other codexes show Combat Patrol, but the contents don't line up.
I thought they all lined up. I haven't looked into it at all, but I thought they were all kind of lining up, all those Combat Patrols.
No. Worse is when you look over your army, realise the monetary value of that squad, and it gets shot off the table first turn. Yes, I did a whole video on that Gloomspite, saying that I was bored of painting Warhammer to just shovel my models off the table anymore. And that is one of the reasons why I started this, Grant.
Yes.
So, just catching
and because I kept telling you to, I'm pretty sure as well.
Well, that as well. I've spent 1k on Warhammer 40k in the last 3 months. Yeah, I've spent not a lot. I've spent a lot more on Marvel than I have 40k in Sigmar. I just bought a Primaris Repulsor tank for £8, fully magnetised, fully primed, in silver. Looks great. Great deal on eBay. Great. Fantastic. Really good value. I just want to compare prices of getting into GW. So we've said there, you're looking at like 600-700 quid to get not even a 2,000 point army on the table. What do you need to play a Marvel Crisis Protocol, Grant?
Right, I know you don't need the core set, but I sort of think you do.
Yes, but you need dice, right? And I just want to point out, if you buy the dice, it's a tenner.
Yeah.
You need measuring tools. How much are their measuring tools? 20 quid?
No, I think they're about 10 as well.
No, they're definitely 20 quid.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah, I bought one.
So did I. I thought they were 10.
Really wish I'd just bought a second core set. So you're looking at 30 quid. Can you tell me how much the rules are, Grant?
0.
Free. Completely free on an online PDF. Do you know how many pages?
There is a book in the core set if you like a physical book, but it is sort of out of date by now, but it's good to learn from.
It's basic and it covers what is in the box.
Yeah.
How many pages is that PDF?
Let me check.
I'm pretty sure... I know roughly it's about 35 pages. Right?
Oh, that's the affiliation list. This must be here. It is I have it 31 in the app. It's 29 printed pages.
There you go. That includes the cover and everything, right?
Yeah, it includes like the quick reference sheet in the backs and all the appendices and stuff.
Yeah. Now, how many models do you need to play a game?
Technically 10.
Technically 10, but if you've got 6, that's fine.
Yes. If you're doing it proper, if we're doing the equivalent of a 2,000 point army versus a matched play, an organized play, Crisis Protocol roster, you're looking at 10 models.
Right. How many do you get in the core set?
You get 5.
No, you get
for each sort of faction.
You get 10 models though.
Yeah, so it's like 5 good guys, 5 bad guys. So you got like 5 Avengers, 5. Not that it really matters, but 5 Avengers, 5 bad guys.
Mm-hmm. And you get all the cards, and you get about half a table's worth of terrain in the core set.
Yeah.
So the core set.
It's a much smaller table. It's a 3x3.
On a so you can play it on your dining table. Yeah,
which is great.
Core set retails at £100.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it anywhere for less than that. Some people, it was going for on Amazon for 50 odd quid a few weeks ago.
I think it was 70s for a lot of places sell that just regularly.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't like the models in the core set, or you're happy to buy, and in the core set as well, sorry, you get your dice, you get your measurement tools, you get all the cards and stratagems that you need to play the game as well.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that I say about the core set is you get 6 missions in the core set you can't get anywhere else. And then you need, again, to go back to match play, the way the missions are done is you need 3 of each type in your deck at all times.
Yeah, you need 6 missions in total.
You're going to struggle. You have to buy a lot of individual boxes to get those numbers up. So it's worth buying the core box to get.
It's worth buying the core box to get your dice, to get your measurement tools, to have a bit of scenery, all of the team tactics cards, as well as the fact that, you know, most of the models in those sets fit into other affiliations, and you don't even need them to be in the affiliations to use them. You can take them as allies, essentially. But say there's some certain models that you really want in your squad. Alex has asked about Carnage. Yes, Carnage is in the game. He only came out last month. So,
I've got the shelf over there.
How much are the models to buy, Grant?
So I've got 2 unopened here beside me. So I've got the Jean Grey Cassandra Nova box, which is 32. And that's for standard price for a 2 hero box.
That is discount. RRP, I believe, is £40.
Right, cool.
Right, which might seem expensive to some people. You go, oh, £40 for 2 models. How much do you pay at GW for characters, Grant?
Yeah, you're paying £20 a character.
More.
I haven't bought a character. Why are we Stonehorns? Like, prices are all skewed.
Do you know what I mean? You're paying less than £20, sometimes £15, £16 for each character. Right?
Mm-hmm. Well, here's Omega Red, who's on his own, so he's a bit cheaper, so he's 24.
Yes, so some models are by themselves in individual packs. They are a little bit more expensive than half of a 2-pack, but they tend to be the bigger models. MODOK, Hulk, Ghost Rider, Venom, Kingpin, She-Hulk, yeah. They're all individual ones that are a bit bigger than your normal characters.
Mm-hmm.
Still not really that bad when you consider discount. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So, say you specifically want Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, I know that most of them will fit in a 18, 19-point game, right? So you look at
all the cards. You can run the whole Guardians, I guess.
Other than Ronan.
No, the CPU over.
Yeah. So, Groot and Rocket, Gamora and Nebula, Drax and Ronan, and Star-Lord, right? So that is quite a lot if you consider it. So 120, you're looking at £145 RRP, right?
Yeah.
You look at, if you go anywhere online, you'll probably get them for 100 quid.
Yeah.
You've then got 7 models. You've got 10 from your core set.
Yep, just throw 3 in.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it costs almost nothing compared to GW. You spent £100 on your favourite Marvel heroes, right?
And that's the big thing, isn't it? Really, it's especially lately with the MCU films, we've all got more of an attachment to Marvel than we probably would have had otherwise.
So many more people know Marvel than Warhammer.
Oh yeah,
like I can go to my boss at work. Jacqueline, I play Warhammer. She's like, "Oh, it's the little men that you build and paint, isn't it?" Yeah, it is. But if I went to her, Jacqueline, there you go, and she'll go, "Oh, that's Spider-Man."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you can get it. You can buy the core set and probably then spend, buy 3 packs of characters. 5 was pushing it with Guardians, right? Because Rocket's only 2, and I think Nebula's 2 or 3.
Yeah. Guards are very cheap.
But if you look at Black Order, you buy Corvus and Proxima and Black Dwarf and Ebony
and Thanos.
Maybe, but straight away you've only paid £85, and you've got your 4 characters to run, because that's how many you'll get in the game. You won't get Thanos in with them in a game.
No, you'd have to drop one of them to take Thanos.
Yeah, but core set less than £100. Models that you want less than £100. So for less than £200, you're all in. You're ready to go. The rules are free. And Atomic Mass Games, whilst they do have some shipping issues and stuff around the world,
that's less them and more Asmodee.
Yeah. Generally, Atomic Mass Games as a company, my experience with them so far is positive.
Yeah. On
the official release dates, they'll update the affiliation roster so you can see who's in what affiliation and stuff. They're pretty open with FAQs if things need errata straight away. There is a very small restricted list of certain cards that you can't use, or that you can't take more than 2 of about 6 cards, I think.
Yeah.
To try and keep the game fair. They do a reasonable job at balancing it. Without really changing anything. They've not really changed much.
Yeah, like some of them. So there's a couple of healing cards. You can only put 2 in your deck now.
Yeah, I think.
And you get no other restricted ones.
Yeah, and it's just such an easy game to get into. Everybody is pretty familiar with most of the characters,
and everyone kind of plays how you expect them to as well.
Yeah, but not just that though, Grant. The game itself is so much fun, and you don't get this feeling where, right, I've just set up 150 orc boys on the table, and then all of a sudden, there's 60 or 80 Vanguard in front of you, and they just blast you off the table like blah 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 blah, gone. Right, I'll shovel them back in after I've just spent 3 hours setting them up.
The simple mechanic of healthy and dazed means that once you lose all your healthy side hit points, you're dazed, and then you can't be attacked again till the power staves, and you flip over to be injured. So you can't really lose anybody in one shot, with the exception of Hulk and She-Hulk, who have a lot more health but don't flip. So theoretically, you could lose Hulk and She-Hulk in a turn.
Yeah. But not just that, the mechanics of it is you go, I go, you go, I go, with each character, right?
Yep.
You always get the chance to do something.
Yeah.
And in all the games that me and Lucy played, most of the time, it could go down literally either way, right till the end.
Yeah.
Because it's such an objective-based game, it's very tactical, and there's movements.
2 missions at once.
Yeah. That's the only thing that threw us at first.
One of them should always be towards your deck, because you each pick a mission from your deck. So you should always have 6 missions your affiliations can do well.
Yeah.
So at least one of them you should be able to do, so you're only really focusing on the other one.
Yeah. And honestly, since me and Lucy started playing Marvel, right, my love for 40k and Sigmar has dwindled. Personally, outside of Warhammer and YouTube and Twitch and stuff, right, our family has had a lot going on in the last 3 months. I mean, I speak to Grant personally about a lot of things, but I have been so worn out and tired over the last couple of months with everything that's gone on, and the thought of having to set all of... I mean, you can see here we finished the game, me and Lucy, tonight. Setting the game up, Grant, changing the table around, getting the armies out, filming the overviews, deploying them, and then just going whoop, off the table.
Yeah. It's pretty draining.
It's frustrating. And I don't like it, and it's all of this effort when I've been to work all day, and I can't be bothered with it.
No, it's a very fair reason.
And Marvel plays much quicker. It's not like a 3-4 hour game. You could play a complex game in like 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, once you got to the speed with it, you could probably speed through a game in an hour if you were really pushing it.
And if you know your team well, then you can probably get through it pretty quickly. But honestly, it's such a fun game compared to 40k and Sigmar at the minute. And I really don't enjoy 40k 9th edition missions. I don't like having to plan the primaries and the secondaries. The codexes are too complicated. I mean, for example, who have I got here that's a leader in front of me? Amazing Spider-Man. Basically, if you run Web Warriors, right, so 51% of the models that you choose to play in the game have to be under Web Warriors affiliation. Hypothetically, Blood Angels, same thing, right? Then you get this bonus. Once per turn, during an allied character's activation, it may pay 1 power and choose an enemy character within 2. The chosen character gains the slow special condition, and if the chosen character already has the slow, then place it within one of its current position and remove the slow marker. So basically, you can move characters around and slow them down, right? So you stop somebody from moving 8 inches and drop them to moving 2 inches, basically.
Yeah.
And that's every turn. So a turn is I move a character or use a character. Grant uses one. Each one of them is 1 turn. So every time it comes back to me, I can do that. That's it. That's the whole affiliation. You've then got...
And tactic cards. You unlock specific tactics cards based on your affiliation.
Yeah, and then you've got 5 stratagems, essentially, which you can play at any point throughout the game, depending on when they say you can play them. But you've got 5.
You can only use them once.
You can only use them once in the whole game, and that's it. That's it.
Yep.
And that's how easy it is.
Largely, yeah.
Like, literally, that's how easy it is. Just going to catch back up. Mark says it cost him £100 for shoulders for his Death Watch. GW killed my love for Death Watch. They were a fun, unique army. Now they're another Space Marine chapter. So, yeah. Have you guys tried Conquest: The Last Arguments of Kings? I've heard good things about it and the models look good. No, I haven't heard of that.
No, I can't afford any more tabletop games.
Grant also plays A Song of Ice and Fire and Marvel.
No, I've moved away from that because I've got 40k AOS, Crisis Protocol, and Legion.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I had to give up something. So,
McPherson says 40k books are only expensive because so many people rush out and buy them no matter what. Yes. GW is just the Apple of tabletop games. People buy into the brand and don't seem to care about how the company operates or what they put their logos on. And I agree. I was like that for a long time. I was like, I've got to have it, I've got to have it, I've got to have it. And you know what? It's only this year that I've been, you know what? I don't really need it. Don't really want it. Like,
I think a big thing as well, and it's maybe because I have the Aberdeen store as my local, there wasn't much else up here. It was GW or nothing for tabletop gaming. If you have a local store that plays different games, it's a very different way to get into the hobby. You don't necessarily go GW first. You maybe look at Bolt Action or Legion or anything like that. And that's the thing with these games like Legion and Marvel. They're big IPs that we all know and love anyway. That are going to make big waves, and they're both owned by the same people. They're both Atomic Mass Games. So
yeah, I mean, even to a degree, my experience with them wasn't great when I did try to get stuff from them before. But Knights Models do the Batman miniature game.
Yes.
And even then, Bolt Action, again, something I've not played because that's not my cup of tea. I'm not fussed on tanks and World War style stuff. But
I've heard great things about it.
yeah, exactly. It's just not for me. Jonah Dyer says Warhammer Hordes is the most ridiculous for price. I don't know, but I don't know what happened with Privateer Press, but I've seen a few independents post up that they're not going to deal with them anymore. So I don't know what's gone on with that. McPherson, do you think the new kill team will compete well with MCP?
No.
I don't think it will compete with MCP because nobody that will play kill team will play MCP.
No, other way around.
Nobody that plays MCP will play kill team.
Yeah, I think if you're not going to be swayed from Marvel Crisis Protocol to a Warhammer game unless you're already invested in Warhammer.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're invested in Warhammer, why would you then switch to MCP when you can just play kill team? There's not going to be that much competition between the two, I don't think.
No, I mean you play MCP because you want to play MCP. Mm-hmm. If you want to play a skirmish game and you don't want to move systems, you want to use your existing models, and you're going to play kill team.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing though. Another thing that annoyed me about GW when they released this whatever book it was it the Marathi book, and it had the Slanesh twins in it.
No, that was. Was that not the Kragnos book that had them in it? They were late.
I don't know, but why did they put that out right after the Slanesh and Daughters battle tomes?
I mean, yeah, them not being in the battle tome was pretty bad. However, because I like playing Devil's Advocate, it's not such a big deal in AOS because all that was in there for the Slanesh was those 2 war scrolls, and they're on the app, they're on the website, you can get them for free. Mm-hmm. It's different from when they're adding entire Legion's abilities into these books. If all they're doing is adding new models, for example, if you wanted Be'lakor, you could just get the Be'lakor rules on the website, but if you want to run his army, you needed the book.
Oh, look. I need that book if I'm playing 40k as well.
Mm-hmm. Whereas I have Kragnos. I don't have the Kragnos book because I don't need it. There's nothing in there that you need for Kragnos because he doesn't have his own allegiance.
No. McPherson says GW selling 1 DLC style books, or day 1 DLC style books. Say it ain't so, mate. It's atrocious the way that they are. They are literally squeezing milk. If humans are rocks, they are squeezing blood out of them. Literally. And people, and I don't mean this offensively, right? People are stupid enough to keep buying it. Guilty. Yeah. Guilty. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm painting up my mall pot for my tournament next weekend. Mm-hmm. I'm still going to play Age of Sigmar no matter what, really. I love 3rd edition. I think it's a great edition of the game. Yeah. Probably the best one. But
apart from coherency rules.
Yeah, well, that's why I've only got 6 models in my army. I'm just not going to bother learning it. And I've got Bahamut, so I can go down to 4 models after this. I'm giving up on coherency. But yeah, it's... Unless they do something drastic. I'm not going to move away from it, but it doesn't mean that I think it's the best game out there, because I don't.
No.
I think it's the best community out there. I think the AOS community is the best community. Don't think it's the best game.
So, Gloomspite says, to be fair, when I got back into the hobby, I went Custodes just because the price of making an army was a lot more inviting. Totally get it, mate. Totally get it. Don't look at Gene Stealer Cult.
Yeah. They're not even good once you buy them. That's the worst thing. At least I'd make her good once you spend all that money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, GW paid £25 for 20 points worth of models. 25 points worth of models. And, by the way, you need 60 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
Rodney, I'm not putting the heating on.
Is that your cat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Come here.
There he is. He likes Grant's heater, and even though it's red hot up there, you can see the sweat dripping off Grant's head, and the cat wants the heater on. But no, I completely agree about the cost. And one other thing that is, again, very off-putting by GW, and this is from me as a content creator, right, is a certain thing which I'm not allowed to talk about, but when I get stuff early for previews, obviously I'm not allowed to talk about it until 10 a.m. on the Saturday if I get it. Most of the time this stuff turns up on Thursday or Friday night.
Yeah, which doesn't give you a lot of time to make good quality content.
If I'm a full-time YouTuber, Tabletop Tactics, Winters has now done it, Hellstorm Wargaming's done it, do you know what I mean? They have, they've got all day the Friday, they can take the time, I say take the time, they're on a time constraint obviously, but they can get it done.
Yeah, they've got more time because they've got the whole day to it, as you say.
Now,
You've got the evening.
I'm sorry, right, but if I get in from work at 5:30 on a Friday night, right, I can't be bothered to sit, very quickly skim the book, then try and do a review of it, talking about it when I don't really understand it because I haven't had time to read it.
Yeah.
Then I've got to render the video, right? So say I finish recording 10, 11 o'clock. If it's a battle report, probably after midnight, right? I've then got to stay up and edit the video, right? Press render once that's done. Hopefully get that done. Still be awake when it finishes rendering so that I can then press upload. And I've seen the time, Grant. I've set my alarm for 3 and 4 a.m. to get up to press upload, because if I press upload at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, it's not going to be up for 10 o'clock.
No.
And that puts so much mental stress on me. And
which is ridiculous. It's a free thing you're getting from GW that's causing all this.
But not just that, right? Why can't they send it out a few days early? If I got something on the Monday,
you got
and
time.
I had all week to do it, great.
Yeah.
Do you know when I got Dominion, Grant?
I can't remember.
So whatever Saturday it was that we were, or whatever Monday it was that we were allowed to talk about it, it turned up on the Thursday. And me and you spent 2 or 3 nights recording them videos, late nights, and it was almost pointless. Because then on the Monday, they just went, there's the rules, everyone, you can have them.
Yeah, I wish they kind of waited a little bit, maybe.
It was so frustrating.
Yeah.
And not just that. Yes, stuff might come, a day or two before we're allowed to talk about it. What's worse is when stuff comes after.
Yeah, because it's better a video then, because everyone's seen. If somebody gets it on time, that's what everyone's watched. So.
Do you know when my Soulblight book turned up?
Probably before your sister's one did.
I can't even remember.
That took about a week. I remember that one.
The Soulblight book turned up 10 days after release.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe.
Bearing in mind, I'm supposed to have it like 9-10 days before it's released, so that I can put the video up for pre-order. McPherson says Saturday review and unboxing stream is probably better than trying to rush out and edit a video from the night before. Agreed, McPherson, and I have done that. I did it with the Drukhari Codex, and there was another one that came out there I did it with. But then the problem with that is, if I get up on a Saturday morning and I want Lucy wants to go shopping, or we've got plans to go out together, or I've said I'll go and see my mum, I've got to sit at my desk.
Yeah.
Till nearly dinner time on a Saturday.
Which you don't always want to do either.
No. No, I don't want to do, because since we moved, I obviously work 9 till 5, and when I get in from work, I try and do my hobby stuff during the week, so that I can spend time with Lucy on a weekend. We can go out.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of Lucy's disabilities, like by 7 o'clock, she's pretty much ready for bed. She needs to lie down. She needs to stretch. So that's why I tend to try and do it during the week. I don't like gaming and doing, unless me and her choose to do it. on a
Yes,
weekend.
which is different. Obviously, it's different.
Or if we sit down on a Saturday night, we might put something on Netflix on the computer. She sits here next to us and we watch it, and we maybe paint for an hour. Fine. But I don't want to be at the point where I'm sitting, slogging myself to do a service for them, which they really don't care about, to be honest.
No.
And I'm the kind of person that puts so much mental stress on myself, not just about that, about everything else. And it's incredibly frustrating to the point where I question, do I really want to do that?
Yeah, is that where you want to spend your time and your energy?
Is all that stress worth what I get out of YouTube?
Well, that's it. That's the
$1
million question.
I sat down with Lucy last night, right? And I even said to her, I don't dislike doing YouTube. I don't dislike streaming. I love that. But at the minute, I dislike recording and filming and editing 40k in Sigma.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
Editing is so much work, Grant. Like, that's how I feel at the minute, and like, I don't want to change what I do on the channel. I do enjoy what I do, but I'm just so frustrated with everything at the minute.
Yeah.
That like, I mean, it was Pokemon Go Fest last weekend. I genuinely considered doing Pokemon videos, not for the Dark Arts, and I probably would have made a new channel, but I genuinely considered doing that because I feel like the channel hasn't grown either.
No, which is... It's an odd one. Because we're in this situation where you say we are getting more people in the hobby, but I think we're also at the stage where everyone's like, I just want to play now. And there's not much... You're watching all these new armies coming, watching all these new books coming out, and you're like, well, I can't play that game. So it's... For a while, it was great to watch during the pandemic, but I think after a while, everyone got a bit like, I don't really want to keep watching it because I don't get to do that at the moment. And I think, hopefully, once we all start playing each other again, we'll be able to actually, channels will grow, things will happen better.
Yeah. I'm going to catch up on chat quickly. So McPherson says, this is what happens when the people that found a GW leave and bring on loads of marketing graduates to run things. Yep. Andrew, I eventually became to love them. My favourite colour was gold even before I played Custodes, and their unique status as an elite army was always fun. Fair enough. With EOS, I went Gloomspite. 75 quid for 60 goblins. Meh. But I love their lore and love them from Warhammer Fantasy Battles. Fair enough. McPherson says, oh yeah, Saturday review and unboxing streams. Set up remote control arms and I'll do the book review stream. On that subject, there was one weekend I genuinely, like, my head was it was down the toilet. And I think it was the weekend that my mum had she'd been in hospital, she'd come out, Lucy's dad had been in hospital, her mum had been in hospital, and then my mum had a house fire. And I was just like, Grant, I can't do this. And I actually sent him the book and went, can you do it, please? And I'll just edit and upload it. And I couldn't face it. And it's really frustrating because the way that I feel now is I want to do it. Like, I'm trying to force myself to do it, and I can't because I'll hate it if I do.
Yeah, you can't force it because you just make bad content then.
Yeah, exactly. Borak's joined us. Evening, Borak, how are you doing? Don't let the bastards grind you down, dude. I love what you do. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. On that subject, actually, guys, if anybody would like to support us, we are obviously trying to expand Marvel Crisis Protocol in particular, and I would love a new camera. So I've seen, I can't remember what it's called, an EOS 50 Mark II. I think it's a Canon, but it's like 700 quid. I film my battle reports with this, Grant.
Hey, a lot of channels use the mobile phones to record their...
Yeah. But if anybody would like to support us, guys, unfortunately this week there isn't one yet, but I usually do put battle reports out early for Patreons and YouTube members. I think I'm going to start doing a lot more sit-and chats, like 15-minute sit-and chat things for me Patreons, because I feel there's a lot of things I do want to talk about. But if people would like to support the channel, guys, please sign up to our Patreon or become a YouTube member. It would be greatly appreciated. Looking back on the chat, Mark says, do what Midwinter Minis did. Tell GW, thanks for the opportunity to date, but you don't want to get the review items as don't want to do the videos anymore, and then do whatever videos you want. Yes, now, it's a double-edged sword though, Mark, because I'm not a big channel compared to Winter's, Hellstorm. Midwinter Minis does such basic videos about trivial things, and he gets hundreds of thousands of views. And like, I do a battle report and get like 3,000 views. Yeah. Like, at the minute, new releases is what draws people to my channel sometimes, and I don't necessarily want to give that up.
No.
Icewolf, do not take the stress, it's not worth it. A lot of YouTube channels do the same. I would just focus, give you some good hobby time and stream that. People will still come and watch you. Yeah, hopefully. Some mobiles have better cams than actual cams. I know they do, Borak. I think that this is an S10 Lite, right, and it's got like a 48 megapixel 60 FPS camera on it, and it's just like that's good. Do you know what I mean? 40k isn't the year, it's how much it costs to play Talkomedes. How you doing, man? It's been a while. Wolfred's joined us as well. How you doing, man? What do you expect when you have lawyers and accounts in charge of our game? Yeah.
Thing is, though, like they were up until really this last year, they were doing a lot better community-wise. It's really been a hard turn during this pandemic.
Oh yeah, during the pandemic, it's like they're getting a sniff of the money because people have been buying stuff because they're staying at home, and it's like money, buy. It's really frustrating. Yeah, and the cost of the models has gone up. Like, everyone's aware of that.
Yeah.
I mean, how much was the heavy intercessors? 40 quid, and people were like, "What?" Like,
I mean, the worst ones are stuff like the guard. It's always one that gets me.
That was so appalling. That sprue should have been put in there for free.
No, free that sprue going in. I remember buying those squads at 20 models in a box for about half what they're selling 10 for now pre-sprue. And it's annoying because it's the same models. Now, I don't mind paying more for better sculpts, for better kits, that's fine. But when you're paying like 4 times as much, well, twice as much for half as much models for sculpts that aren't great. The Cadian stuff, and especially the Catachan stuff, which is why I used to have a Catachan army. Because you buy them in boxes of 20 for about £12 back then. And it's the same sculpts. This was in 3rd edition. And now you're... What, probably 20, probably 27. Well, no, maybe 20 quid then for the Catachans. Because they didn't get the upgrade sprue, they might be a bit cheaper.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I have posted a link to our Patreon, guys. If you would like to support us, I would greatly appreciate it. Talkomedes. I've been collecting since 2nd edition, and now I'm just about ready to walk away for good because GW is crossing the line big time. Yep. Actually, that's another thing that I didn't cover that I meant to, Grant. You know this Grand Tournament pack?
Yes.
Thing. Why is it a spine book, right? When all of the like this pointless book, for example, has a nice, lovely, thing in it like this, and it's on a ring binder, and like nobody wants this book, right?
No.
Everybody wants this one. Last year's version Last year's version was ring-bound. And then you have amazing examples like this.
Oh yeah, the GHB is phenomenal this year. Like,
look
forever,
at
everything...
It's hardback. It's hardback, right? It's got that on it.
Quick red sheet on the back cover.
Yep. And you look at... It's got tabs. It's got tabs.
Yep.
Hello? 40k version, please. It's been worse since they started their own Twitch channel. They want all the content on their stream and no one else's. It's wrong. They don't even stream that often. They should jump at the chance of free advertising. Well, they do stream often. They stream every day, I think.
Yeah, most days, if not every day.
Yeah.
They do their hobby hangouts and their stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. And that's only going to get worse when they start doing the battle reports and stuff again. Borak on Warhammer Plus. AOS is the beta test for 40k. They get everything. Yeah, most stuff. But then if you look at AOS this time, it's more like 40k where you can only use command abilities once. Stuff like that.
They largely test for each other. Like, there's bits and pieces in both.
Bryn says he's pretty much done with GW unless something amazing happens. Yeah, I'll never stop playing. But I hate the stress. And the overhyped reveal streams are cringy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, Eddie and Adam should not be present. I'm not saying I'm a good presenter. I would like to think, like, you guys have come here to watch me, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, me and Grant conduct ourselves quite well. We're not even professionals, we just do this for fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a goddamn farmer. Like,
but, he's a farmer, I'm an accountant, there you go. Do you know what I mean? So, they talk, and it's like they haven't got a clue what they want to say.
Yeah, it comes across as very PR hype man a lot of the time.
But, like, next time there's a reveal stream, right? Have a vodka and coke or something next year, or a can of beer, right? Take a sip every time Adam says, or says Dark Angels. Yeah, the way they announced 3rd edition was so unprofessional. It wasn't even hype. Like,
yeah,
they weren't even excited about it.
Like, I felt really shat upon as an AOS player at that point, because it's like 9th edition got so hype, and 3rd edition was like, oh look, here it is.
But look at the figures that they sold though. How many shops have still got piles of Dominion left over? Just
also, that's a good thing.
Is it?
Well, it's better than Indomitus, where nobody got it. They haven't got the middle ground quite right yet.
Justin ordered 60. He sold 18. As a result, he had to sell the rest at cost price and refunded people the rest of it. He sold them at £85 each, or two for 150.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not good, but what I mean is Indomitus sold out far too quick. This hasn't sold out quick enough. So it's better in the sense that if you want Dominion, you can buy Dominion.
But the thing is, though, how much did the hype 9th edition, then how much did the hype 3rd edition?
Exactly. There's no contest. But also, I feel that we had 9th edition came out at this, towards the start of the pandemic, right?
June 20 it came out, so everybody was just starting to be allowed back out.
Yeah, but we're all still largely at home. A lot of people are still working from home and everything like that. So, the point is that folk were, I need something to do. Cool, this is out. Buy it. Paint new armies. Year on, everyone's built and painted 1, maybe 2 armies. So,
or if you're Ian, you've done 15 armies.
Yeah, I mean, I know plenty of people that have done multiple. I've done probably too many. But yeah, like,
I mean, look at how much I painted last year during lockdown, and then like this year I've painted nothing.
Well, I have 2 Dominion halves and of the Stormcast, and I've sold one half. I've sold the second Indrastra, and I'm probably going to sell the other half because I'm just not going to play them because I've got Beast Core Raiders I want to play. I've got my Sons of Bahamut I want to paint up and get on the table. I've got a Khorne army I'm working on slowly. I've got my sisters for 40k. I've got my entire Marvel Crisis Brawl Core range to paint. Like, I just don't have time for the new mod. And don't get me wrong, the new Stormcast stuff looks amazing. The chariot looks stunning, but it's come out at the time where everyone's now kind of built and painted armies and are wanting to play with what they've built and painted. So we don't need new ones. And I think that's probably the biggest issue with it is people have bought General's Handbook, maybe the core book, done some narrative stuff, but everyone's kind of wants to just play with what they've got now. I think we've kind of reached that point where most people's backlogs are at the point where you just want to get something on the table now.
Yeah. So, just catch back up with chat again. Borak says they know what they want to say, but head office tell them what they can say. Fine, but at least try and rehearse it. Don't come across all unprofessional. That's basically what it sounds like. Bryn says he comes for the sexual chemistry between us.
Fair.
McPherson said, I don't know if do you watch Garth, by the way, the 40k epic narrator who I sometimes read? He only paints old school stuff, right? He's very dry, sarcastic. He only likes like old GW stuff, hates Primaris Marines. He's a funny dude, and I haven't seen him in a while, actually, McPherson. But he says me and Garth should co-host the reveal streams. Talk says, I'm getting the new Krieg, then I'm going back to Gundams and anime models. I'm sick of GW charging way too much. Yeah, again, we mentioned that when we were talking about Marvel. Like, you only need a couple of models in the core set to get into Marvel and you're done. And Bryn says, the shop I went to today had a right pile of Dominion sat in the corner. Yeah. And he'll probably still have it in a year's time.
And I still think it's fatigue. It's what's done it.
Because people are burnt out.
Everyone's collected multiple armies. People just want to play now. We don't necessarily want to paint, he says as he paints a scenery piece. But, like, we've all... Also the fact that the books aren't, like, the battle tomes aren't coming out till August. So, like, maybe that's putting people off buying it.
Yeah.
Because, well, you've now got, like, a month to wait till it's actually... You can use it.
At least a month.
Yeah. And imagine they'll provide towards the start of August to get the models out.
Yeah.
If you're in August, then maybe kill a team at the end of August.
Yeah. But I've just got no hype. I've got no hype for it, Grant. And after everything that we've discussed, obviously, about them coming after animators, and like I said, it is in the back of my mind all the time. Like, are they going to come after the battle reporters next? Like you said, probably not, but, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't think they will. I think battle reports are fine for the time being. I don't see that being an issue. But, I've been wrong before. I've been wrong many times.
It's just the whole way they've gone about things, the amount of frustration that people have expressed, but it's still a drug. People still go and do it, even though they hate it.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, and I'm serious. I said I was burnt out with painting the models. I'm burnt out with GW. Like, I don't even... I think there's been like 2 or 3 reveal streams since the last one I watched, and I just said to Lucy, I've got no interest in even watching the stream.
No, I don't tend to watch the streams. I just tend to wait for the community article to go up now.
Yeah.
Usually because I'm busy on a Saturday. But
and even then, you scroll through it and you're like, nah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, that looks cool. Nice.
I got told GW doesn't even like people kit bashing their kits. Well, no, that's the way they're going now, isn't it? Because it's all the models are equipped with what they are, and that's it, and tough.
I mean, they do have articles in their magazines about kit bashing, but it's all about kit bashing with existing GW stuff. Like, it's always going to be about that. It's their business. It's always going to be promoting their stuff.
Yeah. But I have whinged for 90 minutes now, Grant.
Well, I'm just doing the dry brushing on these horns for these Mornfang for my More pot.
Speaking of 40k epic narrator, Garth is online. So I would just like to remind everybody though, I'm not going anywhere. As frustrated as I am, right? I am not stopping. There may be a couple of peaks and troughs over the next couple of weeks as I adjust. Obviously, I've gone back to working in the office now rather than working from home. And I won't lie, when I was working from home, quite often I'd sit and paint a model during the day while I was working.
Shocking. Shocking behaviour.
But I can't do that now.
Bit hard to hide at your desk.
Well, I've got my own office, so I mean, I still technically could. But no. It was moving jobs was the best thing I ever did. And I love my new job. It's very chill. I've got a lot more responsibility, and of course the money. I'm finally off minimum wage. But
the dream.
Yeah. So if anybody would like to support us, guys, I'm just going to ask you if you can, even if it's £1 a month, support us on Patreon or become a YouTube member. And I promise I will be getting the videos edited. In particular next week, because I've got a full week's holiday grant.
Ooh.
Yeah, a full week off. We've got no plans. I'm going to do some jobs around the house. A Marvel Crisis Protocol night at Battle Bunker on Friday next week. And that's it. So I'll get on top of the editing. We'll get some extra games filmed. Archeon versus 3 zombie dragons is coming. So yeah, if you are able to support us on Patreon or becoming a YouTube member, guys, please do. I absolutely love your support. Thank you to everybody that has joined us. Like, I've had over 35 viewers for a lot of the stream, which is phenomenal. I normally get 10 if I'm lucky. So thank you very much, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you are watching us on YouTube, please go and follow us on Twitch. We normally live stream over there as well. And if you are watching us on Twitch, please go and subscribe to the YouTube channel to keep up to date with all of the battle reports and everything else. Last comment, I'm going to read Talking Media's out. Yeah, I'm so tired of GW these days with these new infringement rules. Is going to shock the community once they really start cracking down on everything. Probably. Let's just hope that they don't drive the community away too far and realise before it's too late. But if you are staying with us on Twitch, we are going to raid 40k epic narrator. Who is Garth, who is a what's it called? Old school painter. He only paints 2nd edition stuff mainly. He's a fantastic guy. Give him some love. If you're watching on YouTube, unfortunately you can't follow the raid, but if you do go over onto Twitch, look up 40k epic narrator, give him a follow and give him a bit of love. But until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.
Bye.
And there we go.
Time.
Excellent.